Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, wherever you are in the world. No matter what time of day it is Friday. It is time for the weekend. And most importantly, it's time for the transfer show. Oops, I've changed the background. That was very good of me, wasn't it? Let me put the right background back on and then do the right intro. Bloody hell, you see I'm flying solo. Okay, so bit of breaking news. We are Tottenham TV. Tottenham, I'm on fire today. I'm on fire, ladies and gentlemen. Bit of breaking news. Tottenham on tour related. This was going to be me flying solo. This was going to be Demolition Dagul, as Ben called it, and a transfer show. Well, we managed to make a signing just like that, unlike our football team. So this is now Demolition Dagul, transfers on tour, evening brews, and I'm going to bring in the regular host. Dave is going to join me. Dave, how are you, sir?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Unfortunately, I had a bit of computer issues, but it's all good now. It's all good, mate. You know what I mean? Don't mind me, didn't it? You know?
In it.
Here
So
we go.
Let's do what we always do, which is say hello to everyone in the chat. There's a lot to talk about. We're going to make this as interactive with you guys as possible. So please get your comments in. Like always, if there's questions, put a Q dash or at TOT dash, or if you're in a position to, no obligation whatsoever. Feel free to put in a super chat, which we will address immediately rather than at the end. And before, again, I say hello to everyone, I just want to say once again, this week alone, like Tottenham on tour have been going for a little while. We go through real big peaks where when I was doing the Levy out protest back home, we went ballistic. Stop, start. And that's mainly because of the consistency, because of either A, my mental health, my health in general, or we just haven't had the right team to be able to commit regularly. But in the last week, we're coming up to 60 extra new subscribers that have joined the family. We've broken 8,500, which is a battle we've been trying to get over since Christmas. And it's all been down to you guys. We are nothing without you. So thank you so much. There is so much to come from us this season. So let's just say the hellos and then we'll get into it, Dave. So first of all, big up to it's KPV channel member. Thank you, Carl, for your constant support and membership. Psycho Fox, Sir BD, as I was saying yesterday about Rabiot and Freebie, it is the very, very first subject in your honour, Psycho Fox. It is the very first one. Just a harmless potato. Big up to you, my friend. John Racha, how are you? Hello, Brian, everyone. Just another day in the life of wishful hoping here at THFC Transfer Centre. You're right. Matty, who joined the channel as a subscriber yesterday after seeing me on We Are Tottenham TV. Great to see you in again. Channel member Andrew Gregory, always here. Big up to you. Someone I haven't seen for a while. A very dear friend of mine. John Ellis Hall, how are you, sir? Stuart, channel member, big up to you. Who else is here? Another channel member in Tom81. Ring Ketic, how are you? And do you know what? He sent me a DM today saying, what did we do for news and stuff before social media and YouTube? And I was like, Jesus, I can't remember. I remember a time it was like CFAX and the newspapers. But yeah, so that Eddie is here. Eamon, welcome. Christopher Inshaw, big up to you. Colin Crossamano, it wouldn't be a transfer show without a Crossamano. Kulu's elusive right foot is in the building. Good evening to you, sir. JJ is here. Peter, who I have to say, mate, your dedication at getting up and watching shows on the channel and others at silly o'clock in Australia is incredible. Another channel member in Scott M here. Good evening to you, or good afternoon to you. You're on my time, mate. Lisa, welcome, darling. And that's basically everyone that's here. There's already 41 of you in here. And we've just had Perky join us. Big up to you. And Adrian Stroker is in the building. So good evening to you. That's why he's a night shift worker. Well, we're happy to keep you company throughout your shift. And Liam has joined us. So big up, Liam. Right. First story. Psycho Fox said it. Dave, I'm going to get your reaction first. Now, first of all, guys, if you see it, you have to call it, because I'm going to call it buzzword bingo. I see a new phrase here. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club are in the picture. We're in the mix. We're in the picture. We're going to jump into it like Mary Poppins to sign Adrien Rabiot. The midfielder is available on a free transfer this summer, or free transfer after his Juventus contract expired in the summer. So, guys, get your thoughts in on Rabiot. Dave, your thoughts on our first little story.
It's funny, mate. It's great, isn't it? You know what I mean? Isn't this like what, the 8th time we're meant to have got Rabiot? You know, and Tuto Juve. I mean, if you want to see a source post at a nonsense out, just to post at a nonsense, it is them. It really is them.
Big up, person.
Unfortunately, we ain't getting. Not unfortunately, but yeah, we ain't getting Rabiot. It's a name touted every single window, because not just like what Colin said, they've got too many midfielders anyway, especially in his position. It's just not going to happen. And I know why the Italian press do it is because of Paratici, and that's the only reason they ever tout Italian names at the moment. This is just one of them. It really is. It just really is one of them. I just can't see it happening. We've been there so many times throughout the years, and yeah, overall, it's just nonsense, mate. It's just another nonsense clickbait. Like the post, you know what I mean? Share the post, and that's all that is for me, anyway.
So before I have my say on this, just a bit of housekeeping, so to speak. So first of all, Matthew, I think Rabiot works so much better than McTominay and Gallagher if we're going to sign another CM, which I don't think we need. Yeah, I can completely see that. It's the first window where we haven't been linked with Dybala. Hold that thought, Andrew. You never know. There is time. Big up to Rich. Haven't seen you for a while again. Just seen news that Villa are keen on Decky. Keep your eye on that one. And the next one, before I have my say, I've just seen that Andrew. Can you just bring up Andrew Gregory's comment?
Oh, right, yeah, because I had the brands up.
Yeah, if you do that, I've got the brand. If you just get that thing up from... There's a certain question you should see below Rich's comment.
Rich's? No, I can't see it.
How can you not see it? I'm going to come back and I will do it.
Sorry, it's completely disappeared.
There you go. Is Rabiot better than Brian Hill?
Is he better than Brian Hill?
Your answer.
Yeah, I say he is. He's better than Brian Hill, yes.
Yeah, I have to say now, when it comes to me with Rabiot, I don't care how good he could be, what an addition he could be. We have gone for him 3 times. And 3 times he himself has turned us down. Through his mother, who I believe is his agent, manager, whatever word you want to use. And apparently she's a real tough person to deal with. And I'm sure when you meet the mother of a tough person and the owner of a club, I would like to be a fly on the wall in that. He's turned us down 3 times. When a player does that, I don't care who it is. What, now because your contract's ripped up and you got nowhere to go? Now it's like, oh, well, yeah, now I come to you. I do not want him. Then we look at it exactly like Colin said. His ship has sailed. He's had it so many times. And as we're saying, as Matt said as well about having too many, from what I'm seeing as well, which we can kind of incorporate this, all the hype about Ollie Skip, maybe going to Leicester, it's not happening because Spurs are worried about the homegrown quota. So that's another midfielder we thought was going that isn't. I do not want Rabiot at all. Let's have a look. What's Richard? Rabiot will bring his mother. She's worse than Howard Wolowitz, his mum. Oh my God, that's Brian Hill. That's what I call Brian Hill, Howard Wolowitz. But yeah, I just don't see it. Mark Swifty is in the building. This is the thing. And I'm not just saying this. When we hear this guy is available for free, Simeon said on We Are Tottenham TV, and he said it weeks or months ago, when we were looking around, when it came out about the PSR struggling teams we're going for, Simeon said it's like, I mean, when we hear that, we're like Jaws. We need the Jaws music and Daniel Levy circling a boat or something. And this is what it is. I mean, let's just have Bertie this is his daily thing that he comes in and says, I'm going to bring it up every single time. This is such a big thing. And I didn't get to see it before. Anurag, cheers from India. I hope everything is good for you over in that part of the world, mate. Daniel Field is here. Big up. Nothing to do with it, mate. I hope if this was to happen, I'll be over the goddamn moon. But like you said, nothing to do with Spurs. But Daniel, thanks for putting that in, because I would love for him to do that. Right. So I think we've said, oh, wait a minute.
It's been said. It's been said.
It's been, yep, 100%, 100%. But one thing I will say, and I learned this last summer, when Colin Crossamano speaks about football teams, mainly Forest, but now they have a Forest manager, his version of Here We Go, or your Donny May Mins, was that right? Donny May Mind?
No. Doma Nin Mind.
Oh, so close. Well, Colin Crossamano's is keep an eye on it. So maybe the deal is not dead. That's all I will say. Colin Cross is tier one for me in that type of the world, or in that part of the world. So, and then we've got Alan Hogan, big up to you. Levy's in advanced talks with another hotel. That's a good question. I would have to say, I think every single one of us, there's 57 in the chat, 58 in the chat, it's showing right now. And obviously us too. So we'll round that up to 60. We're all better than Brian Hill. So let's go on to the next story. Slide 2, I'm just to bring up. Now, this is something I spoke about, and I think we spoke about, Dave, since after the window shut. That Richarlison has confirmed to the Saudi Pro League he would be interested in a move, and they are ready to step up their interest for him in the coming weeks. So, people in the chat, and I've just seen one of the longest supporting people of this channel has just come in, so always a big up to Mr. Audio Artisan. Richarlison, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, this came about very early on in the window. And, you know, it's not going away. But it's that coming weeks. Again, that wording that tells you that it's a non-story, because in the coming weeks, so it's that kind of like, oh, I'm telling you now, Bri, in the coming weeks, I'm going to win the lottery. Yeah, I'm going to win the lottery in the coming weeks. You'll have no idea if it's going to happen or not, but if it did, I predicted it. And that's the type of story it is. Do you know what I mean? Where it's just in the coming weeks. Well, what? So Saudi people are sitting there going, right, now Richarlison, you know, at Tottenham, we're going to buy him, but in the coming weeks, all sources tell them that we're going to go to Tottenham in the coming weeks and we're going to buy Richarlison. It's just another story just because there's reports of Richarlison being linked with Saudi, yeah? And it's a way to just carry on getting likes and clicks. It's just the way it is. I don't see Richarlison going to Saudi at the moment. I think he'd rather stay in England or move to a club in Europe. He's still early on in his career, technically, if you think about it. I don't think he's going to go to Saudi. So I just believe it's a non-story. And I'll put a bet on it that at the end of the window, Richarlison's either still a Tottenham striker or he's in Europe or another Prem team.
Oh, I hate it when people do this live, because then I start taking bets, and I've got a very good track record with one Ryan Isaacs. First of all, just want to say Shabbat Shalom back to you, Adonisi. I hope you're good, buddy. We must catch up. Tweaky is in the building, channel member, big up. Right, so I'm going to kind of disagree with you here about Richarlison, and just say good evening to Simon Cohen, Ryan McFarlane, channel member Shem Tem is in with us. Thank you everyone for joining us. So right, you and I found something out through someone, the Richarlison, and it was the Saudi club that was the talk. And then obviously we've had it all season where is it going to happen? Then he came out and said he's not going. He wants to stay in the Premier. Can't remember if it says the Premier League, England or Tottenham. Whichever way, he kind of rubbished all the rumours. Then obviously there was the photo of him in the Saudi Arabian kind of headgear. I don't know the name, and I'm not going to try and butcher it or do it a disservice. I can't remember the name of it, but it was wearing the headscarf, so to speak, and everything, and it said tongues wagging. Then it's on, then it's off. Now, yesterday you heard me speak about. So I've got a friend that went to school with Ryan Mason and chatted to him recently, and he always asked about Alfie Devine for me, and he gave the news about Alfie Devine that I was just told. When he asked Ryan Mason about transfers, and he mentioned Richarlison, what they said was with Richarlison, the one problem they have with him and why there is something towards it is his fitness and being able to stay fit. And they are disappointed with how, forget whether you think he's a good player or not, or he should stay and get another chance. Tottenham Hotspur, apparently, and this is from Mason, secondhand to me, but somebody I went to school with and the person I speak to, I trust with my life, said they are really disappointed with his health, fitness. And if the money comes in for him, then they will sell. Make of that what you will. He came back early for pre-season. Everyone's like, oh my God, look, why wasn't he in the hard squad? He's got a calf injury. So you look at it, his first season at Tottenham under Conte was hit and miss. Obviously, him and Conte, I think, clashed and butt heads, whether he wanted him or not. I think it was a clash of person. And obviously, you had Harry Kane back then, so he's not going to get a chance. And then last season, when it was your time to step in to Harry Kane's shoes, don't get me wrong, he had that little patch in the midway, I think the New Year to February or whatever it was, where I think it's Christmas time, Christmas till February, where he was just scoring goals for fun. And then he got injured again. Then he came back. Then he got injured again and was out of the Copa America. Came back early and he's injured again. I seriously think, and I'm going to stick my neck out on it, and I tell you what, we're going to put a bet on here live, Dave. I've got a bet on with Ryan for Gallagher. Let's have one now. You and me, but we're not going to have a stupid one. And I have to say, tattoos are off. No, I'm saying I can't. I am under explicit instructions. If I get another bet-related tattoo, let's just say I'm in a world of trouble. So I won't put that on the line, but I will put it that forget that I will say if Richie leaves, and the bet is only if he leaves. If he stays at Tottenham,
no. But I didn't say that. See, no. I said if he goes to, he won't go to Saudi.
So I'm saying if he goes to Saudi, I win the bet. Yeah. If he stays at Tottenham, no one wins the bet. If he goes anywhere, Premier League, Europe, anywhere apart from Saudi in the world, you win. Okay. So I only have Saudi. You have the rest of the world. If he stays at Tottenham, no winner. But now we've just got to decide what the loser has to do. Guys, give us some ideas, some decent ideas, not ridiculous, because
I ain't shaving my beard, by the way, or my hair. I have very luscious long hair. I ain't shaving that. My beard, MZ, would kill you all.
Yeah, unfortunately, Reg, I am not allowed a tattoo bet. I saw Swifty also say tattoo bets are off the table. Whether it's to eat something stupid or do something. And also put some comments in on the YouTube thing afterwards, and we'll come to it. But the bet is on. We haven't decided on the. Well, I'll tell you, I'll shave my hair. I'll shave mine. That's what we're doing.
Oh no, you got to wear the Cucurella wig.
I could, yeah, but I could wear a Cucurella rig. That's no problem. That's not big enough on a bet.
Oh no, I thought I'd do something crazy.
Oh, Andrew Gregory. If this happens, you've got to wear an England kit for an England game. And if it's the other way around, I'll do Wales.
Right, okay, fair enough. But I won't do. I'll do it. I'll do a shirt with England on it. I am not going. I will not purchase an England shirt. And MZ doesn't own one. Do you own an England shirt? Oh, you do. Okay, then MZ owns an England shirt. So yeah.
Okay, I would have to do it with the Wales shirt, and I'd have to buy one. I'll go talk to my friend that's got a little business. We can do.
Oh no, I've got better than. I'll wear an England shirt.
Oh, there's another one. You like your hot food, don't you?
No. Oh God, no. I've had that before. I'm not doing it ever again. Not a chance.
Okay, what
get your ears pierced. I've already got one pierced.
Yeah, I've got that's a Dave. Yeah. Wait, so PC Matt, he won't shave his beard. Sorry,
not a chance.
Let's see what else we've got. So you won't do that. Oh, I will never have red on me ever. But you're Wales, so that's different.
I could with Welsh, yeah, but I'm not.
Okay, what about this one?
Shave the eyebrows, not a chance.
I would do it. I've done crazy bets. This is
I know, yeah, but I'm not a better person, right? Yeah, so I'm saying now. I was about to say that. Well, Andrew Gregory's pub, you've got to learn the Welsh national anthem, and you've got to sing it on stream. And I'll have to sing the England one.
Say that again.
Right. So on stream, you have to sing the entire Welsh national anthem in Welsh. Right?
Well, fuck me. I've got a whole new language.
Yes, I will sing the English one.
So you learn no new language and just sing a very basic.
Hey, I'm Welsh, so I've got to learn English.
Okay. Well, they're open. First of all, got a members chat from my brother Bobby K. Big up, brother. Purchase a Tottenham shirt with Hill on it. Even if he leaves, you have to wear it for a game. I would purchase a Spurs shirt, but I would not buy it from the Spurs shop because I won't give Levy money.
No, it'll have to be from a certain website.
Or one of my friends who have a very similar business.
Oh, yeah. There you go, Brian. You got to learn this.
Oh, is this the station? Is this the station? Is go? Yeah. Listen, we'll come up with an idea, but the bet is on. It's on YouTube. People can find it. I have got Richarlison will be playing for Saudi, and you have to do a forfeit. And if he ends up anywhere else in the world, I've got to do a forfeit. Oh, you're going to join the Ryan Club of losing to me on bets. Looking forward to it. But I think, as you can see, we are pretty much against.
Just one thing, mate. Just one thing, yeah, right? And just because you made the bet now, the bet's out there, yeah, right?
Bet's out there.
This, yeah? Bet's out there, yeah, right? HITC. Isn't he that Crystal Palace fan? Yes. Yeah. What's he going to know about Richarlison and Saudi to Spurs? Mate, trust me. Nothing.
Okay. We'll see. We shall see. I'm going to be right. So I'm going to, do you know what? I might have to put the Spurs bet on with you because if
why is my hair so bad?
I'm just thinking if I win and you have to get a Dagul 8 on the back of your shirt like Ryan, I can start my own army. Yeah, but getting away from Richarlison, let's get back to transfers. But it's that's a good point. How about that? I'll put that on the line. If he stays at Tottenham, we both lose. We both do a forfeit. What's the forfeit? Well, we've got time. We've got till August the 31st to think of it. But Dragon D's nuts, you're on. So somehow, some way, one of us are doing a forfeit. But the dual forfeit, 24-hour stream, me and you. You take 12 hours, I take 12 hours. If he stays at Tottenham? If he stays. And we'll do it for mental health charities? Yes. Done. How about that? How's that chat? Brian does 12 hours, I do 12 hours. Because obviously I could do for the day, UK. You could do obviously for the day and night through Canada. Sounds good. 12-hour stream, and it's for charity for mental health. There you go. Done. PC Matt, I ain't not shaving my beard. Are you Fugazi? Is that Fugazi? No. Because he always wants to get right. Okay, that's good because he always wants to get me to shave my beard. Or at least I don't know. I know Fugazi's account. First of all, Paul 123 is in the building. We are talking about Richarlison, Paul. I don't know when you came into the show. Always good to see you. It's going to be we're talking about Richarlison, whether he stays at Tottenham, goes anywhere else in the world, or how I think Saudi. But yeah, there you go. So it'll be a 24-hour stream. If he stays at Tottenham, we'll organise that. No problem at all. Right, let's get back to transfers, shall we? Let's do it. So the next one, and right now we're going to start cranking up a bit, and you'll see I'm going to start getting a little bit more focusing on a certain department of the football club, and I will be having a rant about Levy, but I'm doing it I'm not going to be the old Brian shouting, screaming, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a constructive, well-said rant, and we're working our way into it. It's like when you're going to the boxing and you're waiting for the main event. So this one broke. Dave, Chelsea and another Premier League club both offered 8-figure sums for Mikey Moore last summer. Tottenham Hotspur Football Club are now extremely keen to fast-track Moore and another player into the first team this season. Now, I want you to break down this, and I'll keep this up so you can see it for a bit. I want you to break down the Mikey Moore bit. I want you to break down the fast-tracking, like the fee, and then I want you to, I think we all can agree who the other player is, but let's just have a look.
Yeah, so first of all, obviously clubs are going to try and get Mikey Moore. He's one of the hottest talents in the UK at the moment. Everyone knows that. His name's been touted everywhere. Of course, they're going to be looking at him. The 8-figure sum, whatever that was, is obviously just to try and tempt him out. 16-year-old, 8 figures. It looks good, right? Fortunately, he's got a contract, right? And his contract doesn't actually go live until what? Next year, I believe, fully, because he's only 18. No, he's only 17, isn't he? No, 16 goes 17.
Yeah,
so it's only 17. Yeah, on his 18th birthday next year, he can sign a professional contract with us. That's what that fast tracking part is that we're getting him around the squad now, and you will see him next season on that bench, just to weigh off any thoughts of him leaving Tottenham. It's what you got to do. Unfortunately, he's that type of player. You just got to get on that bench and you give him the odd 5-10 minutes. He'll be happy with that. He's not looking for first team football because he wants to develop still. He's not right. But at the moment, that's what that is. That fast track is not because Tottenham believe he's ready. That fast track is not because Ange thinks he's ready. That fast track is to keep other clubs from prying him away from Tottenham. Let's get that said. Just get that said out there right now. Yeah, right. It's not because he's talented. He's fantastic, but he's definitely not ready. He's not ready for first team football. He's not ready to be a rotation player. He's ready for the odd 5-10 minutes here and there. That's it. Yeah. He can't start games in the Prem. I'm sorry. He's not ready. He really isn't. He can't start games in, like, you know what I mean, in Europe. He's not ready. He's a 16-year-old, right? And he needs to be developed correctly. You push him too quickly, you can see what happens with younger players. I understand other players have played at 16 and stuff like that and 17. I get that. What I'm saying is, with the Premier League, if you push them too quickly, you see what happens to younger players. Money gets given to them. Their heads can go, and then you lose and lose, and you can slowly lose them, right? What makes you think he's not ready? Because we're not ready as a team. Unfortunately, Tottenham have still got too much dead weight within it to allow a 16-year-old going on 17 player like a Mikey Moore to be put on to the team straight away. And that's the issue there. Unfortunately, our team isn't ready. First 11 needs to be ready. The bench needs to be ready. Then you can allow players like that to come in and learn off them. You throw him in now, you can ruin his entire career. Or you can skyrocket it and become the best player ever. We're not ready for that yet, unfortunately. We can have him on the bench, bring him on 5-10 minutes here, give him some minutes here and there to keep him happy and to sway off other players. Other teams. Because if no other team was coming for him, Mikey Moore would not even be in pre-season. I guarantee you that. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. That's my opinion. If anyone else has a different opinion, that's fine. I'm not right in what I'm saying. This is how I feel and think about it, the situation. But if no teams would after Mikey Moore, he wouldn't be coming in, unfortunately.
Okay, so listen, I can pretty much echo everything that you've just said. On the other hand, I put it on my Twitter afterwards. I said, like, he's our Owen, he's our Fowler, he's our Rooney, as in not he's going to be that good. I'm saying the trajectory, I can never say that word online live. Trajectory is that way. He is people in. I've said a few things, and even non-Spurs fans have come on and said, you know what? I've seen him play for England in the youth. I watched the youth football. The hype is worthy, and it is hype. Don't get me wrong. We have got a diamond here, but the worst thing I'm taking for this, and I'm going to bring this up so I can go on my. Whoops, that's the next slide. There's a bit of a spoiler. So when I look at this, and I put this in a voice note to us, didn't I, in our group, Dave? And I also did it to my Levy Out group and everything. The way I look at this is, and like I said, I'm starting to crank up the heat on a certain area of this football club, is I agree with you that they're fast-tracking them to stop suitors coming in and say, right, you're going to be here, you're going to be here. Now, the way I'm looking at things right now, and tell me if, guys, you've either, and there's now 82 of you in here, thank you for joining us on your Friday evening, morning, afternoon, whatever. My train of thought when I read this was, if I look at it this way, I think we can all agree the extra player is Lancashire. Without a doubt, that is the extra player. So I look at it right now, and I'm looking at Tottenham Hotspur's team as we speak. Like, forget who could be or going or coming in. Son is, from what we've been told and what we've heard and what we've wanted to hear, is that Son will be played out on the left because that's where his best position is. It's where he's predominantly played the majority of his Spurs career. It's where he's had the biggest success. He's been a striker when Kane got injured when he was there, or when we didn't have a striker available to play this season because we didn't replace Kane. So he's going to left back, and we've signed Timo Werner, obviously on loan. Then I look at it, which means up front, we have Richarlison as we speak. And then it's obviously going to be Lancashire. Now, if Richarlison goes, that means we have Werner, because some will then be moved forward, even though we know that's not his best position, and it was called out by pundits, by fellow YouTubers, whether they felt the same way about the club as anyone else. But everyone, the majority of us as fans have said he can't be central constantly. He needs to be out wide. So if Richarlison goes, our front line now becomes Timo Werner on the left, and maybe someone else comes in. Who knows who that person could be? I would say our strikers would be Heung-min Son, who we've taken out of our best position to put in a position where we would have had Harry Kane, 100 million. Let's just say Richarlison goes for 50. Because remember, the deal with Everton is 50. It raises to 60 on appearances and bonuses, whatever. So potentially £150 million sold on strikers, just to have your best left winger move to centre forward, have a 19-year-old in his backup. And don't get me wrong, I think Lancashire is going to be a good player. I think he's going to be a very, very good player in a few years. Do I think he's ready to become, and like you said, have all that pressure heaped on him? Listen, some people can do it. Some people, like a Rooney, can come in and bang, off you go. But I know Ange Postecoglou said he wanted to reinvent his front line and have a more dynamic front line. But if Richarlison goes, I see our front line being Werner and whoever you want to say on the left. Could be Donnelly, could be an Eze that could come in. We'll talk about that in a minute. Or it could be someone else. Son, who we don't want to see at centre forward, Lancashire, and then Kulusevski and Brennan Johnson. Now, I'm sorry. If people think we're going to get far with that kind of front line, and Ange Postecoglou will be happy with that, I don't know what is going on here. And if you had said you're going to get £150 million for two centre forwards gone, I don't see how we have not reinvested in a number 9, but taken up, because like I said, this is how I'm seeing it. If Richarlison goes, I don't know if people in the chat think the same as me or along the same line, but if we go from Kane to Richie to goddamn Son, who isn't a striker, and Lancashire, what have we become? What have we become, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, that's it, mate. I mean, this is the problem. I've always said this, yeah, right, when it comes to a team. Now, obviously, not everyone agrees with me. This is my personal opinion, right? Yeah. And you know, this is just how I feel about it. On a team, you need 2 ready-made players for each position. You have a striker, you get 2 ready-made players that they can fight for that position. Left wing, right wing, same. Midfield, same. Defense, same. Keeper, same, right? Not every team can do that, obviously. The issue, it becomes a big issue when you haven't got a ready set player in that position to start with. So, we don't have a striker, yeah? Like a ready set striker. Richarlison, we know, isn't good enough, yeah? Dane Scarlett, right, isn't ready. Valise isn't ready. So, if you were to put Will Lancashire there, right? And I did say that right, didn't I? Who had to go at me the other day? Lancashire,
yep.
Yeah, I'm just making sure because I got that wrong the other day and I got shouted at. But yeah, the problem is if you haven't got a decent striker in front to help the player learn off and develop, he's not going to develop or become better, right? And you need that around him. And that's going to be the same as Moore. Where did Moore play on the right wing? Currently, we've got Brennan Johnson and Kulusevski. Are they really the players that you want more to learn off? On the left, you've got Mana Solomon, Son, and Verma.
So great. Sorry, right? Just a quick one. Colin Crossamano with a fucking brilliant point with these youngsters when you put too much pressure on them. And that, without being disrespectful, is Brighton. And I was a big, I at one point I wanted him at Spurs, but the
whole fan base did. The whole fan base wanted Ferguson. Why aren't any of them wanted him today? That see what I mean? Is what I'm saying about kids and everything. And like I said, I did find out, right?
Yeah, here we go. You've got it.
Quickly, So in 2023, on the 17th of June, Moore signed a schoolboy contract. It turns professional once he turns 17, which is the 11th of August, he turned 17. So 11th of August, he will get his professional contract. So what Tottenham are doing is keeping him happy until then, because the second he signs that professional contract, you won't hear of Moore. He'll go out on loan or he'll do something like that. It's just purely on the basis that he needs to be kept around so he can sway off other teams before signing him. Basically, that's how I feel about it. Bear in mind, this is my opinion. We're trying to grow the channel, not destroy it.
Yeah, we're trying to grow it, not get it cancelled.
So
thank you for your recommendation, but I can tell you categorically, not happening.
Yeah. So for me, this Moore thing, right? Yeah, I like Moore. He's a quality player, right? Don't get me wrong. He is not ready. I'm sorry, he hasn't been around the first team enough to be ready. Next season, I think if you keep him around the first team this season and give him the odd game time here and there, next season there is a possibility. But unfortunately, our team is not ready. Everyone says, moans about the transfer window because we haven't signed an abundance of players, moans about the players on the pitch, but then expects a 16-year-old to come in there and change it. Unfortunately, that is not how football works, and this isn't FIFA. Right? And I know people will bring up Lamar Yamal or whatever his name is from Spain. Have you seen the Spanish squad around him? There's quality players. Where's our quality players that apparently we need to get rid of these players to sign better ones? Unfortunately, it's not.
What I will say with this is, I think listen. I think Mikey Moore can have an impact this season. I do, but not as a starter. Coming off the bench like he has done, I think we'll see him more in the Europa League and Carabao Cup. See, this is the other thing. The other thing is, when you look at it, it's just whilst we're having this conversation. Let's say a lot of the youngsters stay. We're just theoretically talking here.
Yeah.
If a lot of them stay, when I say a lot of them, I mean, let's say 4 or 5 of them that are in the first team squad. If we go in the Carabao Cup, and let's just say we get whoever we get, and this time, rather than what he did last time, where he made loads of changes, and people said he's trying to see what his squad's about, and so he knows for the transfer window, and we have that pathetic performance against Fulham. If he does that, let's just say we get a Championship or League One team, whatever it may be, even a Premiership team, and then he plays the youth in that, and we've seen what the youth did against Hearts, and it's only Hearts, but if he plays the youth in that game in the Carabao Cup, and we were to go out the first round, then the knives are going to come out again. Oh my God, what are we doing? And I will say, I will put it out here now. If we play, as much as I want a trophy, if we were to play, and I don't mean reel them out like the second half against Hearts, but if there's 2 or 3 in the mix for the starting lineup of Carabao Cup game, and then later was introduced like second half subs, whatever, I have said, even when I went to Nottingham Forest, when I flew back to London and we went out with Conte, if you play the kids and give them the experience, then you can say, okay, you tried, it didn't work. So Ange is in a real precarious position when it comes to next season. It comes to, do I give we all know he's not going to give the youth a chance in the Premier League like he did against Hearts. They're not going to say like the class of 60, the class of 92, off you go, do what you do. That ain't happening. So it's when he does it. I do think Moore can have an impact, but it will be an impact sub. Listen, do I think Mikey Moore can come in and do what Dele Alli did when he came in against Leicester and then he didn't get out of the squad? No, I don't. And I hope he doesn't, because we could ruin him. But then there is the other side of the coin where he could absolutely smash it. We've just got to be very, very careful. But like I said, my part on this whole thing is for this so-called refreshed front line, because he wanted to work on the front line. Right now, if you look at it, Werner and whoever, if Richie goes, I see some being used as a striker, unless we get a striker, and Lancashire, and then you got Decky and Brennan. And I don't know if you find that weaker, worse, the same. You've taken Richie out and put Lancashire in, basically. If there's no Eze, if there's no or left winger, and we're going to talk Eze soon because something broke before we get there. But So yeah, guys, listen, 101 of you in here now. We'll get your comments on that. Like I said, if we see questions, we will star them and deal with them at the end. But if you can, put a Q or at TOT so we can see it clearer. Dave, do you want to bring up the next one for me to read?
Yeah, I will do. But I just want to go one more on that Moore thing as well. Sorry. Just because there's one other thing that people don't see, yeah?
Right.
Is our fan base, yeah? Right? Loves to hate on a player. Right? Regardless of who that player is, they love to hate on a player. You got a 17-year-old, right? 16 going 17, because obviously in August he's 17. So if he was to come in the Prem or do with us tonight, he'd be 17 years old, yeah? If he doesn't perform the way this fan base wants him to perform, what do you think is going to happen? This fan base will destroy him. They will destroy him across all social media because he didn't live up to their hype of him. And this is why you got to be careful as well. It's not just on the pitch. It's not just with giving him abundance of money. It's not just all that. The mental side of things, our fan base is terrible at times with that, right? Where, you know what I mean? You can look at numerous players over the years who have had to remove themselves of social media, turn off their comments on things and stuff like that because they just get hounded.
So
you
just
have to be careful.
just a couple of things as well. I mean, top G14, big up to you and thanks for coming into the chat. So we have the highest price tickets or highest ticket prices in Europe. We're one. Fulham are above us now, but we are definitely one of the top 5 or top 3 to be watching the likes of McTominay and Gallagher. But the fans will tell me I complain to you. Exactly. Listen, this is a real sticking point, and the certain fan base that would say that to you, I'm going to have something to say about it in a couple of slides time. So, and I'm going to do it like I said. I'm not going to be the old Dagul of ranting, screaming, shouting, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be talking like we are now. It's an open conversation. It's a discussion. It's whatever. So also, Greg, my man, thank God you're not at the Scotland Yard near me, because you and me would be having words right now. You're back in Florida. I hope you're good. Or you might be in a European holiday still. If you both lose, you have to stand in front of White Hart Lane with a sign saying "We love." I can't even say his name after it. I'll do it. I have always said I will never put a bet on where I have to do something like that or get his name tattooed or any. I refuse.
I'll change that. I'm going to put on it. Dagul loves Levy.
You do that, mate, and I'll be in Wales before you can fucking end the stream. I'll tell you that right now. So just another guy. Hi, Brian. Hopefully the youth get a chance. There might be 1 or 2 surprises, just like Mainu. Yeah, there could be. Listen, I'm a great believer that there's players there that could do it. We saw it with Newcastle with, was it Miley or what his name was? There were teams that doing it, and there are teams. Tottenham have done it. I remember back in the day when I was growing up and people showing my age will do it. I remember when Nick Barmby broke through. Nick Barmby at Tottenham was sensational. When he went off to I can't remember if he went to Hull or Borough. He went to Borough, but he ended up at Hull. He weren't the same. There are teams or players that can come and do it. But a lot of this, again, like Dave just said, was before social media, before all of that. And the one thing I will say in defence of the Spurs fans to what you were saying is I get completely where you're coming from. But the one thing that will give Mikey Moore or Lancashire a difference is when they come through our own youth academy and they are one of our own, they do get extra time. Like when an ex-player goes back and manages their club, because they've got that affinity and that bond, the fans will always, oh my God, there is a blast from the past, Ray. Andy Turner, my God. I saw him score a goal. I think it was against Sheffield United in the First Division. I think Gary Lineker went off with a broken arm or Paul Stewart. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember Andy Turner. Well, let's have a look. Lots of evidence on this chat that lots of people in our fan base are toxic, probably have miserable lives in their reality. Listen, the one thing that we're happy with, Illmatic, right now is the chat we have here on Tottenham on Tour is one of the kindest, most respectful of the people in the chat, the conversation, whatever. And there's a lot of frustration about Levy. There could be a lot of frustration about Ange. But with what's coming up now and what we're seeing, I can understand why the frustration is going. Colin, I haven't spoken to her for a while, but I'm going to try and reach out to her this weekend. I spoke to her a couple of months ago, and she was doing good. She just moved, but she was doing good. But I will reach out to her and try and get her back on the show. So let's bring up the next one, and it's about. Are you going to bring it up, Dave? I'll bring it up.
I got it up. Yeah, I got it up.
There we go. One of it's all breaking today, people. It's all breaking today. The former wink, he's not doing any work behind the scenes for us in Italy or whatever, or wasn't seen at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium before the end of the season. Sporting director Fabio Paratici is facing potential further problems in Italy after a request for a trial into allegations surrounding Juve. Dave, over to you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's one of them things. Obviously, Paratici did what he did while he was the director of football. He obviously left, and then there's obviously still certain things going on there that he's going to be thinking with. Currently, he's working as Tottenham. People think he's there dealing with transfers. No, he's not. He just basically points us in the right direction to players. That's what I've gathered of what people are saying. I don't know Paratici. Just to clarify to people, I don't know Paratici, and the way I'm saying it is just what I've seen said. So I can only go on what's been said. I don't actually know him personally. Because if I did, that'd be cool as hell, wouldn't it? But yeah, so with Paratici, obviously he did what he did over in Juve. It's caught up with him. He's going through issues. Unfortunately, you know, if Lange, if Scott Munn, if Daniel Levy needs Paratici around, and or Scout McKenzie, sorry, and the other scouts, whoever they are, if they need Paratici's advice to look at players and find the right players, then they're not doing their job. McKenzie's job is to scout players. Lange's job is to sign them players. Scott Munn's job is to kind of bridge all that together, send it to the bald guy at top in his ivory tower, and then, you know what I mean, get the deal done. What, you know, if you need Paratici to get these deals done, yeah, you're not good at your job.
I have to say, We Talk Football has got a very good point.
Yeah, but the thing is,
the reason I say that, Dave, before you go, the reason I say that, if Juventus are getting looked into, forget Paratici's part, if Juventus are being looked into again for allegations or whatever it is, whether it's transfers, match fixing, whatever it is, Tottenham Hotspur will not go near Juventus. They will not. So not saying because Paratici, or you could say because of Paratici, but if Juventus have an investigation into him again, we will not be looking anywhere near them.
No, of course not. But yeah, he's still around. If that's about Paratici or whatever, you know what I mean? Paratici's still around, but he's consulting. So in other words, he'll just give a phone call. He'll say, look at this player. He'll probably link Lange with another what he called, my mind's gone blank, an agent of a player or whatever. Yeah, but he's not allowed to do any dealings with it. If he was to, Tottenham get in trouble for it because you're allowing someone who's been banned to do dealings. Like, again, Lange is meant to be our director of football. He's meant to be our Paratici. If we still need Paratici, then Lange can't do his job. Get rid of him. Bring someone who can. Because I'm not being funny. Paratici signed some great players, yeah? Right? Perfect. It was great. Signed some decent players. The selling ability of Paratici was trash. He couldn't sell water to a fish. He couldn't sell water to a fish, mate. You know what I mean? And we need someone who can do both. And unfortunately, at the moment, Lange is really good at selling, not looking promising on the buying part. At the moment, right this moment now, not in the future, because we haven't got a magic ball and we don't know. Yeah, we haven't got a magic ball, so at the moment, yeah, I agree, Alex. Yeah, Alex Hilton, right? I agree. Okay, he does have links with a lot of contacts in Italy.
Yep.
Why do we have to solely focus on Italy? There is an abundance of players that we could sign from a magnitude of places across the world. You look at Bergvall, so hyped by the fan base, is not Italian. He came from the Swedish league. Archie Gray, another talent player, not Italian, came from the English league. The two players that we've signed from the Italian league were Bentancur, Kulusevski. Kulusevski is wanted out of this club by probably at least 70% of the fan base, and Bentancur seems like a bit of a muppet at the moment, and there's got a bit of an attitude problem. Udogie came out of the Italian league. Well, no, Udogie didn't come out of the Italian league, did he?
Yes, he came from Udinese.
Udinese, sorry, yeah. Right, so yeah, so you know, you can get certain players from these things, but you can't solely focus on it. And if Paratici is the only one that can do that, then for me, what's the point? There is plenty of talent across the world. So yeah, I agree, Joe. Yeah, sorry, I missed out Vicario and obviously Udogie. Yeah. I know he signed Romero. Yeah, I get that. I'm not saying, but like I said, he's good at signing players, rubbish at selling them. Whereas Lange at the moment is good at selling players and getting rid of players, bad at buying them. is what I'm trying to say.
So let's get into the main course. Let's get into
the fun one.
Let's get into where the rant I've been waiting to have. I've been very vocal. No, let's go back on that one. Right. So this may be a little bit of a long-winded rant from me, but people in this channel know that this is my specialist subject on Mastermind. This is something that, and Joe, and I'm jumping on it today because, as I said, people will know. I've said openly, I'm doing things differently this summer, this window. I'm going to be calmer. I'm not going to jump on every single story that goes with every transfer rumor. I'm not going to tweet and bitch. I haven't once this window used the hashtag Levy out. I've said my frustrations. People know where I stand on this. I'm trying to do things different and more level-headed and more rational. And I saw this today. This is what I woke up to. And my blood started to boil. I started to go through withdrawal symptoms of ranting. I felt like I was changing from like Bruce Banner when he's about to change into the Incredible Hulk. I could feel it happening. So this is from The Athletic. Daniel Levy played a key role in the signing of Archie Gray, joining Johan Lange in what was weeks long. I'm sure that's been worded wrong, but we know what they're trying to say. Weeks long talks before a breakthrough was made. So let's get into this. So I would wait. In fact, Dave, you go first, and then mine
will be quick. Mine will be quick, and then I can allow you to do what everyone's here for, and everyone's been waiting. Is that Dagul rant, the beautiful rant? So yeah, I'll get into it. It's PR. It's straight up PR. That's all it is. You know, because Archie Gray looks good and everyone's hyping him up and he had a good game and everyone's excited by him. Levy's ego won't allow him to not take a certain amount of credit for it. Lange has been spending weeks trying to sign this player. Levy comes in as the knight in shining armor with his bald, shiny head that he used some pledge on it and came in to save the day to bring Archie Gray to Tottenham Hotspur. No, he probably made a phone call and said, yeah, Lange, you can sign him. Here's the money. I'll give you the 40 million to sign him. Whatever it was, the deal with Rodon, blah, blah, blah. If Lange couldn't pull over that deal again, why is Lange here? If he needs Daniel Levy to bring him his little bottle of milk to help him out. You know, it's just sad. It's PR at the end of the day, and it's just to make Levy look good. Anyway, my rant over. Dagul, enjoy.
Yeah, I would. I mean, first of all, Daniel, my fire is still there. I'm just not going to be effing, blinding, calling people out. But I'm just not doing that. But what I will say here is when people like myself go on and say, oh, this deal's been ruined, this deal's been screwed, it's Levy, it's Levy, it's Levy, it's Levy, it's Levy, I get hit, and so do many people that Levy out, whether it be on social media, whether it be on streams, whether it be in the written media, whether it be on the pundits talking on Sky or whatever. We get told, don't blame Levy. He's got nothing to do with it anymore. He has stepped back. He has nothing to do with transfers. It's down to Paratici if he is doing anything behind the scenes. Whether Mun's here for business or football activities. But then we hired Johan Lange and Mackenzie, this transfer unit, this transfer team, to get the deals done so Levy can take a step back and focus on commercial. Fine. Didn't believe a single word of it. Won't believe a single word of it. And then obviously we saw the 2 seasons ago with Spence and other deals where he's got to haggle, he's got to meddle, he's got to get in. Now, once this came out, I have seen loads of people, and I do mean loads of people, going, oh, look at that, Levy to the rescue, Levy saved the day, Levy did this, Levy did that. These are the same people that when a deal goes wrong, says nothing to do with Levy. He's away from everything. You can't go for him. This is your agenda. So now that apparently Levy is meddling, and this was weeks of negotiations to get this done, even though he was on the verge of joining Brentford, because of the weeks of negotiations was going so well. So this is what happened. So if you're going to try and take credit, or Spurs PR are going to do Levy to the rescue, Levy there, even though apparently he's got nothing to do with transfers anymore, fine. You want me to give you credit for getting Archie Gray in if he had something to? Fine. Well done. Well done. But now, let's flip the coin over and let me ask you why Eze hasn't been done. Why another winger hasn't been done. Why a striker hasn't been identified. Why a backup for Vertonghen, for Van der Ven hasn't been done. All these transfers that have slowed down, or they are going, no, they stopped. Oh, it's the Euros. Now, if people want to come at me and start using the Euros, just look at Man U. In the week since the Euros has gone, they've signed 2 players and are about to get Agati. If that's how you pronounce his name, I can never forget his pronounce. So that team is moving. That team have a brand new person in charge that's having some influence. Bang, getting stuff done. So these people that are coming out and saying, oh, look, Levy. First of all, Levy doesn't do anything. Levy doesn't do anything. He's got nothing to do with transfers right now. Then all of a sudden, he may have something to do with transfers because he cannot help but meddle. And now you want to try and give him credit and big him up for it, even though you said he had nothing to do with it. But then when the transfers that are collapsing and we're hearing that we can't get the valuation, let's look back at history. Let's look back at what's been going on in recent times when deals fall flat, deals fall through. There's someone there meddling. But we have this transfer team that had his objectives to get it in for the summer. But now these deals are collapsing, or these deals are stumbling. These deals aren't happening. Players out has stopped, so to speak. So I don't. This is why I don't. I have come on here, and people that are staunch Levy out, people like Scott M, who I can see is the first name I can see. People like Zach Robinson, people like Stuart, people like Adrian. I could go through the list here of people who watches me regularly, have seen me. I said when we sign if we sign players early in January, that's all I'm gauging the window. Not the quality, not the amount, speed of players come in. If we get business done quick, I will come out and say, well done, Daniel. We signed Dragusin. What did I do? Put a tweet out, went on channels, stuck to my word as I always do. Well done, Daniel. Well done, Tottenham. Then when we released the players, we released Perisic, Dyer, Tanganga. Who was the other one that left alongside Tanganga?
Sessegnon.
There you go. Both of those, Dyer and Perisic, was obvious. When we released Sessegnon and Tanganga, I again came out and said, well done, Tottenham Hotspur. Well done, Daniel. They both had contracts that could trigger a year extension. Rather than doing that and then sending them out on loan and losing money or keeping them and not playing them, you got rid. You took away the element of trying to raise money. You cleared the books. You cleared their wages. We've cleared £1 million off the wages. I'll do it again. Well done, Tottenham. Well done, Daniel. Then we got rid of Tanguy and Dembele at long last. And Spurs did the right thing again. They let go of him in the last year of his contract. They were never going to do it earlier unless there was a breach of contract because of the finances it would have took. Got down to his last year. Said, right, that's it. We're done. Paid him off. He's gone. Rather than loaning him out again, rather than trying to see what we can do with him, rather than his poor attitude infecting the training ground, we got rid of him. Again, I came out immediately and said, well done, Daniel. Well done, Tottenham. I will do this. But what I don't understand is the sections of the fan base that adore what Daniel does and think he's brilliant and whatever will always, no matter what, find a way to excuse it. If he's wrong, if it's wrong, no, there's a reason. No, we did it because of this. So now the people with this Archie Gray nonsense, listen, I will say again, well done Tottenham for Archie. I think there is a real player there. But this isn't about the player. This is about what's going on. How 1 minute we can say, when you come for me and people like myself, whether it be on channels, social media, in the pub, your workmates, family, and people say, when we've gone mad that deals have collapsed, and we go, Daniel, and they go, no. He steps away from transfers. He's got nothing to do with it. But then when it's quite clear that he may be having something to do with it, you praise him, but you won't mention the deals that have gone through. And the fact that Ange said, in the first 3 weeks of July, I want some serious movement. I want my team to take shape. Well, we're in the 3rd week of July. We play QPR tomorrow. We then go off to the Far East. We have less than a month until the season starts. And I don't care how you feel about this football club as in the ownership or whatever. If you can tell me right now this transfer window has been a success, or we're in a better place than we were last year, then I'm sorry, you are wrong. If you're going to say that the line that comes out that, well, others aren't spending, it's hard at the moment, I keep saying this is a transfer window to strengthen your team and to make you send you closer to your rivals to compete. It isn't, oh, you make one move, I make one move, you make two, I make three. This isn't how it's done. Manchester United, who were shocking last season and only finished a few points behind us, are building, are starting to make. And listen, I'm not going to say anything about the player they signed, this youngster, the other day, because I didn't know a damn thing about him. And the one thing I will say in defence of the Spurs fans is Spurs fans went on and said, oh my God, look at Manchester United signing this great youngster, hot prospect, blah, 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 blah. But then when Tottenham Hotspur do it with Archie Gray, they say the exact opposite. So that's a breakdown which I don't agree with whatsoever from the Spurs fans. But if they get Ugarte, they've got to address their striker issue, even though they spent 90 million on, I think it was 90 million on Højlund or whatever it was. We need to improve this squad drastically, and I'm not having it that 1 minute you say he doesn't have deals done or he's not involved, then he is involved and praise him. But then when you say, where are the other players? Oh, yeah, but it's the Euros, the market, the this. I don't get it. And I'm sorry. I've stayed calm. I'm staying calm, as you can see. I've got frustrated. I've had my rant. If people cannot see things are starting to repeat itself, how many times have the manager said they want players in early? How many times have the manager said pre-season is vital for me? We've seen, listen, whether you love Brennan Johnson or not, whether you think he is a good player or not, whether you think this season he is going to be a great addition or he's going to be same as last season, even worse, I think he's to be the most improved player of the club. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I have faith in him. You signed him last day of the window. No time to integrate with the team. No time to get straight into the first team and know the patterns of play or everything. There you go. Off you go. Go play. And it's just so frustrating. And see, this is the things that I love. Someone like Matty, who's new to the channel, I go on a rant. And like I said, not the shouting and screaming and bitching and moaning and fuck this, fuck that. Just laying the facts down, talking calmly, rationally, or if you want to call this rationally, and you put the points together. This is why I get so frustrated when we sit here and bitch and moan against each other. Because when you bitch and moan at each other, things like I've just brought up, and thankfully someone that didn't have the same opinion as me understands my opinion and has come in respectfully and done it. That's the difference. I'm not going to get anywhere if I start shouting, screaming, swearing, going, oh, here we go again with this dickhead. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. But you've got to look at this. How long do we go right now in this window? Is it when we go to Asia? Is it when we come back on Asia? And if we haven't got, let's say, at least two, I'll say two. I'm not going to go mad. If we don't have two players by the time we come back from Korea, or Japan and Singapore, and then that walks into this first team, or a big up second. Well, I've seen your comments recently. Thank you, buddy. I really do appreciate it. If we come back from Korea and the Far East, cheers, Tom, brother, my roomie, then surely you've then got Bayern Munich at home as the one before the season starts. And then you look at it, and then the football season's up and running. So all the work we could have done in getting the players in has gone to waste. And this is the bit why I don't get why the Spurs fan, like why we spend so much time bitching and moaning at each other. Because the longer we do this and the longer we act this way, there's a man at the top that's just sitting there and go, do you know what? I've got this small section of people. And when I say small section, I mean the people that I proudly protest with. And like I said, the people I stand by isn't just for a protest. They are like family to me. They have helped me through my struggles with my mental health. But they are literally like a ride or die family. We have gone and raised our voice. And obviously, he looks at us when there's been 200 at the training ground, and he does send spotters. He has sent spotters. Ben Kaufman's in the chat. He'll know he's been there. Donna Cullen's lot come and try and take selfies with us, where we've got to the point where we just photobomb them now. And there's a few of us, and we get the piss taken out of us because of the small numbers. And then the very, very big debate on social media and Twitter is ridiculous for it. Like the absolute disgusting things I see on both sides, on people that are Levy out as well as people that aren't Levy out. It is horrible. But whilst you're butting heads at each other, he's just sitting there going, I'm getting away with this. They're bitching amongst themselves. If they had this passion that they have against each other and they combined and put it towards me, I'm in a world of trouble. Not saying that that's going to happen, that we wake up tomorrow. But at what point do people realise that this is another window where the things are repeating? Because we went into this window with, once again, this is the big summer. This is where all the attractions start coming in and start paying off. This is where we have Paratici, Lange, McKenzie. We have a designated transfer team to act. We got told at the end of the window, Ange has given his list of who he wants. Ange has given instructions for what he needs. He's given it to the transfer team. They're now going to go away and tackle it. I even said when McKenzie and Lange came in before January that I don't think they're coming in for January at all. I think January was set in stone before they came here. It was from January to May to work with Ange non-stop to identify what he needs and go, right, so when May comes, we can start putting feelers out. But when the window actually opens, we can start doing things. Well, here we are, July the 19th. July the 19th, and we haven't got anyone. So, sorry, that round went on a lot longer than I thought.
That's what we come here for. That's why the chat is here. This is what they wanted.
It just comes to the point. And Joe, everyone that's put comments in, thank you. I mean, like I said, I have tried, and I'll let people know now. I can let people know. Because of the new way I've gone, there's a few people in here that know it. It's now confirmed, so I will say it. I said to myself, and there's people in this chat, like I said, that I speak to regularly, and I do mean regularly, not just via this chat, Tom81 being one of them. I said to people, I'm doing it this way this year because I'm living by the mindset of trap more flies with honey than you do vinegar. That's where I am. I was like, if I can talk like this, and you saw people like Matty and others saying, this is what a second will, I realised people don't want to have people that are Levy out on because they think they're going to come on, they're going to take the channel over, they're going to bitch and moan and yada, 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 yada. And I said, that it's not going to work that way. It's not going to work. I've got to try something else. Obviously, as a channel, we had the Trust on, and we're going to do more with them. That was a welcome to Tottenham on tour and a discussion to try and get a viewpoint of what the Trust does. We will be doing a live Q&A with Martin, and I do mean live. We just got to arrange a time and date where you guys will be asking the questions. They will be answered, but I'm telling you now, any disrespectful crap and why are you such a whatever, blah, they will not be asked. Even if you put it in a super chat, I will not do it. They are going to they are going to do that. But where I was getting at with this is because of the new way I've gone, a channel where you thought I would never, or a person like me would never make an appearance, has been asked to make an appearance. And tomorrow, I will be making my debut on Chris Cowling's show. Mm-hmm. I will. I'll tell you how it happened. Obviously, when we signed Archie Gray, I went on We Are Tottenham TV. We did a show, and I was saying how happy I am with that. And then I slept for 28 hours, unfortunately, straight, and literally woke up to see Chris Cowling had sent me a private message saying we are going to do an Archie Gray show. Would you like to come on? Completely out of the blue. Out of the blue. Got back and said, do you know what? Sorry, Chris, I've been asleep, blah, 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 but I would love to come on another show. Messaged me a couple last week or something and said, Brian, do you want to come on after the QPR game? Now, whatever people think about Chris Cowling, whatever, people have said he won't have people like Levy out on. People have said he won't. Don't get me wrong, I'm not going to go in there and go, oh, Levy this, Levy that, and talk. We could be talking the QPR game. If we do get to talk transfers, then I will speak about what we've just been speaking about. But the main thing is, me going this way, I'm starting to be able to speak better, and then literally for Chris Cowling to have someone like me who is Levy out, and without blowing my head up or whatever, I would say Stella and I are probably the most well-known Levy out people on YouTube. Love us or hate us, probably on social media, but that doesn't mean anything apart from the guys that I do the protest with. Those guys are immense at what they do on the streets. They're the ones that set it up. I attend, they do it. But I'm talking about social media-wise and YouTube. So for Chris Cowling to come and ask me, I must be doing something right. I must be able to speak in a better light, to have this discussion in a more constructive way. I've had so many people recently come up to me and message me saying, do you know what, Brian? I may be completely against what you say, but I understand where you're coming from. I respect you because you talk like this. You're not effing and blind like I used to. And like I said, trap more flies than vinegar. I will be on Chris Cowling's tomorrow. It is confirmed that it's going to be after Crystal Palace, QPR. Look, I don't know what the conversation is going to be about, but should transfers and something along the lines of that come up, I will speak my mind. And if you guys can tune in as well, because obviously the chat will be, I don't know how the chat's going to perceive me. Hopefully well, hopefully who knows. But having your great support will help. But this is the way forward. If I can get onto shows or other people, I'm not just saying me, other people that are Levy out, if they can channel it or whatever You just don't know. And there could be, I don't know how many, I'll confess, I've never watched a full show of Chris Cowlins. Never. Just because, not because there might be another show on or I'm doing something, but that's a big show with a big audience. It's a big audience. So to have the conversation, to try and get my views across, whether we are, cheers, Colin Crossamano. So we see. So that's the big news about that. And that's why I went on this rant. And it's obviously working the way I'm trying to do things. Listen, I'm not saying that everyone stop what you're doing and walk the line out. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying I got labelled a lot and had a lot of shit come my way for being obviously a known face in Levy Out. And I put my face to the camera. I make myself an easy target. I have my social media accounts, which are my name and my pictures, not fake names, fake avatars, pictures of the stadium or a player. Everything is me and genuine. So I have a lot of people come at me and say, "Oh, you got a genuine." Fine, you want to say that? Well, now I'm trying to do things different, and it's gaining some traction. So listen, if we end this window like it is now, trust me, old Dagul will have the fire in his belly. Talks of me coming over to England will have commence about me trying to start protesting again because I won't accept it. But I went through so much anguish last season, both football-wise, club-wise, protest-wise. Someone who stood by me thick and thin at every single protest and knows exactly what happened. This lady here, one of the nicest ladies to walk the planet. And listen, like I said when we had the trust on, and like I've said to many people, if someone told me I have to walk, there's 1,000 doors right now, and each door is a mile apart, but you don't know what door opens up leaving, I will walk 1,000 miles to do it. There's nothing, I've always said to myself, there is nothing that I will ever say, and then Levy leaves the club, though I would ever say no to. So I will try anything and do anything. I have a platform, the channel, Tottenham to have a platform, but obviously I have a platform to speak how I feel about the ownership. And I've tried this way of doing it, and it seems like it's being more appreciated than shouting and screaming like I used to. Don't get me wrong, I used to be terrible. I used to come on just to shout, scream, bitch, moan, swear, cuss. It does nothing. It does nothing apart from make me look an idiot. And I'm not prepared to do that anymore. I want to sit down with people and have conversations. And hopefully with those conversations, that people may disagree with me. People may agree with me. But at least the conversation's being had. At least it's been done respectfully. And we'll see where it goes. But enough of that was the biggest rant that I never knew was happening.
Mate, that was fantastic because the chat was just sitting there saying how quiet I was, and I was just doing faces, hitting the comments up and everything. It was fantastic. That was the quietest I've been in years.
Mate, and listen, I'm going to say just very quickly, there's people like Terry Wright that's here, Brian Maguire that's here, Scott, people, Audio Artisan. There are people in this chat, and there's 107 of you in here now, that have seen me from when I broke onto We Are Tottenham TV to when I started Tottenham Away with Stell, Brian Island and Cheyenne, to Tottenham on tour, to then doing everything, and have seen how I started to where I am now. And I prefer where I am now. Don't get me wrong, the fire is burning inside me, but I'm ready to put it to use in a good way. I'm there to protect good, not evil.
Yeah, the best way, mate. The best
exactly,
way.
Exactly.
Well, can I just say something, right, quickly? Sorry, yeah. I should say everyone in the chat who was, you know what I mean, making funny remarks about Chris Cowlin and stuff like that, right? The one thing we have about this community of ours on this channel is, right, we don't badmouth other channels. Your opinions are opinions. We respect them, right? But to come on here and badmouth them and call them names and stuff like that, just leave it out. It doesn't need to be done. Do you know what I mean? However you feel about him. Brian's going on these channels and we're bringing people onto this channel as a way to try and engage with everyone, like Brian said. Yeah, that's all we're trying to do. And whether you agree with it or not, we're just trying to bring everyone not together in a sense, but try and just, you know what I mean, create something. Shut up, Colin. I'm allowed to speak.
No. What I will say on this as well is we have said for years, and years, or I won't say years and years, a couple of years at least, that people like The Last Word on Spurs, people like Chris Cowlin, people of that, I'm not going to go through all the channels, but you get what I'm saying. We're always saying you never, ever, ever have Levy out people on. You never, ever, ever bring them on to have their say. You never, ever challenge the board. You never, ever do this. And I've said that as well. I'm not going to lie. I've said that about those two channels. I haven't bitched and moaned about it. But fair play to Chris for having me on. Someone has said, do you know what? I will have him on and I will let him talk. Like I said, I met Chris Cowlin. I'll tell you a quick story before we go on to the last story, which will make people even more pissed off about what the original rant was. I met Chris Cowlin when we did the Manchester United protest. Ben was there, Fran was there. I can't remember who else is in the chat that was there. When we did that, it was a pouring down night in London. The 6-1 had happened with Newcastle. We had never done a protest during the week, ever, because obviously people have work, blah, blah, blah. But we said, you know what, the 6-1, that's it. We've got to go big Manchester United. They're going to be going mad at the Glazers. We're going to be going mad. Let's do it. So we set up that protest. Whilst I can't remember if I was talking to TalkSport at the time or TalkSport had gone and I was on just protesting. I got a phone call that just down the road, Chris Cowlin was on Sky Sports News. And I was like, okay, I'd never met Chris Cowlin in my life before, ever. So I thought, you know, let me go down and see if I can have a word with him. So as I walked down, he was still having his interview. Thank you very much, Terry, brother. As I was waiting for Sky Sports News finished, he came over to me. All right, Bri, how you doing? We had a chat. And he goes, I've seen your stuff, yada, yada, yada. And we sat and he goes, he said, listen, when he's had frustration at the board, and sometimes he has, he won't go like me and go, and as always, Levy out and Levy's this and Levy's that. He'll go, well, the board have got, it's the way he says it. Don't get me wrong. Do I want him to do more? Do I wish channels with his reach did more? Of course I did. But he's having me on. He's having me on, which whether people like him or not, people don't agree with him or not, people think he's got connections with the club. I don't know if he has. If he hasn't, bully for him if he has. No problem if he hasn't. We have spent ages accusing channels like this for not having people like myself on these channels. And then when we finally get someone who will speak about this on a bigger platform, on a platform where nobody else has got, or not nobody else, but where they're like, well, you've got to give, and I will say, you've got to give Chris Cowlin some credit because he's asked me on. He had no obligation. I've never spoken to him in my life apart from that Manchester United protest. It's very obvious to find me what I'm doing on YouTube. Very easy to find my views on things, which do not change, and I will not change them because I'm going on Chris Cowlin. If Chris Cowlin says to me, how's the QPR game? What do you think? I'm not going to go, oh, well, Levy hasn't bought anyone. Well, that was shit. I'll talk the game. If he asks about how the youngsters are doing, I'll speak about the youngsters and say I still want some first teamers around him. If he talks transfers and says, how do you see the transfer window going? What's going on? Then I will go on a rant like I've just gone on before. But Chris is having someone in that will talk Levy out, that does stand for Levy out, that is a part of Levy out, that is known within Levy out. And I don't know many of the other big channels that won't have people like myself on that are doing it. So we'll see. It's either going to be a brilliant for Levy out and discussions and trying to show that the people that feel like I do can have a conversation. It's going to hopefully do wonders for our channel. let's face it, I want this channel to grow. People in this comments have been so kind, and this channel is growing, and it's growing really well and organically in the way we like it. And who knows what it could do? Or it could be a complete shit show and never to be happened again. So we shall wait and see what happens. But enough of that channel or this channel. Let's go on to... Let's go back.
Yeah. Can I just quickly say one thing to the chat, right? When I was mentioning about the Chris Cowling thing and saying being nice and stuff, that's not me calling out anyone. Like, I know Jazz then thought saying that no, I'm saying in case anyone does. We just don't want that type of in our comments. Do you know what I mean? You can have your opinions. Many have been putting in, as you can see, they're still there. You're allowed your opinions, but I'm just saying, like, don't name call with the opinions and stuff like. It was like just a, one of them. I wasn't actually calling people out, just to clarify. But anyway, Brian, last topics. After your beautiful rant, after you've been
let's get back to
well, you had one rant. Now you're just about to have another one.
So let's just recap. The last one was Daniel Levy. Whoop whoop! You got involved with Archie Gray. You don't get involved with transfers, but you do get involved with transfers. The transfers that aren't happening are because of this, and this. Well, for let's just say the dessert of this episode, let's bring it up, brother. Let's bring it up.
Yeah, just do one more comment. Yeah. Right, here we go. And here's for another Dagul. Right, so I'm going to take this first, Brian. Just
you go, bro. You go.
So I can sit quietly, deal with the comments. They can just look at my stupid face.
You go.
So this came out today from Ed Aaron's. Good source or not, who knows? The Spurs Express posted it. Tottenham are yet to follow up their interest in Iberici Eze, who would cost around £70 million. Right, I'm going to go first.
Yep.
Right, his release clause is 60 million with 8 million add-ons. Yeah, right. Obviously, there might be the odd little 2 million there to make it 70 million. Okay, fair enough. For me, and this is the one I actually want to jump on first, because apparently the reports were stating Crystal Palace won £50 million upfront straight away. Right, that's it. Straight away, £50 million on the table, done. They want the rest obviously over a certain amount of time, blah, 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 blah. Now, for me, you've been linked with this player for so long, right? We've been linked with him since not the beginning of this window, last window, we were linked with Eze. I know, John, I know I've got my time now, haven't I? But yeah, we've been linked with him so long. If they want that 50 million, why, as a club who have had so much money, go and pay it? And I agree, Tom. Is he worth it? Who knows? It's not about what we believe he's worth. Maybe the club don't believe he's worth it. Okay, fair enough. Great. The club don't want to pay that. Okay, cool. They knew he had a £68 million release clause, and we've been linked with him. If this was real, and obviously Tottenham generally wanted Eze and they wanted to go through and buy him, the fact that we haven't just put the money on the table is a joke. That's it. It's a joke, right? We don't know if Tottenham actually really want Eze. These links could just be saying we do. Now, we know we appreciate him, list players, blah, blah, blah. We probably have a list of players of about 10,000 players from the ages of 5 years old to the ages of whatever, right? That's how scouting lists work. Abundance of players on a list, you go through the list. If it's true and Tottenham wanted him and we haven't put the money down, it's a joke. It's just a joke. We have the money there. Right? And like, again, it's my opinion, everyone's opinion. Yep. He's not worth it. I'm sorry, I don't believe Eze's worth 70 million. I don't. But if the club do and they want him, why isn't the money on the table? Why, again, have we only bought one player, which is a loan for the Verma, and then 40 million euros, which I know the deal. Let's round it out to 40 million. We've obviously added Rodon and stuff like that. They're the only deals we've done. Now, if we want Eze, why isn't that being done? Other players are not being done. And again, we're in that position where we sit there and realise that Tottenham don't want to pay the money for a player and they're not willing to do that. Yeah, Levy will try and go in and try and get a deal from the release clause so he doesn't have to pay the release clause. Crystal Palace don't have to sell him now. They sold Elise to Bayern Munich, which no one expected, by the way. So, they don't need the money now. Eze's chilling there like, what? You know what I mean? We don't need to sell him. They'll offer him a new contract, higher wages, boom. They keep him. So again, I'm going to let you finish off, Dagul. I'm going to sit here, deal with the comments. Look at my face if you want funny faces. I'll pull them if you put funny comments. And let Dagul rant for another half an hour. Let's go.
Listen, it's not even a case of ranting for minutes. I've had it openly said, and I've been saying this since last summer, I wanted him over Maddison. The reason Maddison came in last year, whether we want to admit it to ourselves or not, is he got relegated with Leicester. And it was a cheaper fee. If James Maddison had not got relegated, you'd be looking at an extra 15, 20 million on top of that deal without fail. This is a player we have been after for a year. For a year, we have been after him. For a year, we've been in talks. For a year, we've been in discussions. The whole time, you would have thought... You'd thought these talks that are ongoing would have been about the value, would have been about the clauses in the contract, the stages of the payment. So they've had a whole year to work on this, which obviously hasn't worked. Now, from what I've heard, Spurs do want him, but Spurs aren't willing to pay the lump sum up front. They want to pay it in installments of 4 or 5 years. They want, that's what they want. And of course, a certain someone isn't happy with it, even though they've known it for a year. Now, listen, I understand that the club will try to find a solution to not having to play a huge outlay. But this is what the game-changing stadium was for. This is what FFP and us being so frugal or so excellent with what we're bringing into the stadium with the events, the boxing, the F1, the skywalk, the rugby, the NFL, I could go on. And then it was, okay, we're not going to do it for FFP. We need to be ready for PSR. We've got ready for PSR. We were ready to literally have this advantage that was going to take us to another dimension and lift us to be competing with the big boys. As the people that said that Levy doesn't get involved in transfers anymore, this you watch in a couple of years, this game-changing stadium and the way we have been doing business will all fall into place and things will happen. So during that time, big up Matty, big up brother, and thank you for joining us. It's been 2 days. You've been active in the chat. Really appreciate you, as we do everyone. As I was saying, so once PSR was involved, whilst we are waiting to take advantage of this golden opportunity we have and position we got in, all the clubs that were struggling with PSR found a loophole. So the PSR meant nothing. So here we are with money in the bank. Not saying it's all liquid cash ready to go bang, bang, bang. But people then say, oh, we've got transfer out money that needs to be paid out over 300 million. Well, so does every other team. It's amazing when we sold Harry Kane, and I know I'm talking Harry Kane and Eze, the whole reason the deal took so long was Daniel Philip Levy said, out of that £100 million, I want way over 75% of it in one lump sum. One lump sum. So it's amazing. It's good for them. So when we're selling, he does it. And people know, don't even try and haggle with this man because it ain't going to work. In fact, if you try and haggle with him, he'll screw you even more and you wish you wouldn't have haggled with him and just pay the normal price. But then when it comes to us doing the same, it's not allowed. Now, I know, and I think we all know, there are certain clubs, and we've heard it from certain managers and certain owners, it's just like we won't deal with Levy. We just don't have the patience. We don't have the energy. We just don't. They refuse. Now, I don't know why people are saying 70 million for Eze is too much when 68 million people were saying get it done. We're talking £2 million here. Yes, 68 and then 70. 70 sounds obviously a lot bigger because it's rounded up. But if we just paid 45 million minus the Roda money for Archie Gray. For an extra 23 million, you get an England international that has been very, very good for Crystal Palace, and most importantly, will walk into this team, and on his day is incredible. If it's not Eze, if people say 70 million is too much, okay, people have their opinion. I love Eze. I absolutely adore him. Big up Ferg. I've seen some other people have come in. Big up Maz. I've seen you in here, buddy. And and I've seen Ronnie in here. So everyone join in. Thank you for all your contribution to the show today and always. Get back. So if we're not spending 70 million, Spurs walk away. We knew it was 68 million. That's 68 million. Why isn't there a Gyökeres? I'm just using him as an example. Why isn't there a striker? Why isn't there a winger? Why isn't there... If we're not spending this money and we know we've got this money, why are we not spending it? Well, we know why we're not spending it. Big up. I don't know if I've said hello to Ferg. Ferg, one of my closest mates, is in here as well. I just don't understand. There's got to be some kind of rationale that if people say 70 million is too much, okay, that's your opinion. I'm perfectly happy for Spurs to pay 68 million for Eze because I just adore him and think he improves the squad big time. But if you're not going to spend that 68 or 70 million because you think it's too much, why have we spent a year and then all this window? And of course, it's media talk and whatever, but I really do believe there is some substance behind it. If that's you're not willing to pay, why is there no traction on Neto? Neto's not. Why is there no traction on a striker? Big up from South Africa. Why is there no traction with anything anywhere? We desperately need a striker. We know that Richarlison could be leaving, and we've got our bet, Dave, and I think he is leaving. Where's the striker? Where's the striker? Where? Listen, I agree with you, Tom G14. I completely agree. Neto, on his day, and if he stays fit, is a game changer for Tottenham Hotspur. But he's not at 67. I would rather pay 70 million for Eze than I would Neto, even though I think both on their day injury-free are absolutely incredible. But if we're not spending the money and we're not doing it, why are we not doing it in other areas? And just like we said at the beginning of my Levy rant, he's not involved in transfers. He's not doing anything. Isn't it a bit of a coincidence where a deal that we all know Tottenham Hotspur are very, very interested in, and if the transfer team have got the objectives to do what they need to do, and Eze is on that list, if he's on that list, all of a sudden there's been no approaches. But let's forget, Levy doesn't get involved in transfers, apart from when he does, and then it's all to be merited because, hey-ho, Levy's come to save the day. I don't get what this club is doing. Don't get me wrong, I've said to myself, and I said it on this show, I'm not jumping on every single thing on Twitter, retweeting and bullshitting and screaming. And I just don't understand why, as a whole, there aren't people that are more concerned by what's going on. Dave?
Yeah, I agree. We should be concerned about what's going on. And for me, I agree with what Scott says, is the fact that we are solely looking at Eze. Apparently, that's what we were doing. But we have so many other holes to fill. Like you were mentioning, Brian, with a striker, yeah?
Yep.
We've got Richarlison, right? I'm sorry. Dane Scarlett is currently not good enough. Valise still needs a loan. I'm sorry, he does. He's got an abundance of energy, fair enough. But you can't just have a player who runs around the pitch. That's why I don't get why we signed Timo Werner, because that's all he does is run around the pitch.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we have other positions that would benefit this team more than signing Eze. The fan base want Eze because he is a stylish flair style player, right? Just the signing of Eze and Archie Gray, right, are going to do nothing for us. Unfortunately, Eze will get injured. So you got to account for him being out of the squad for a certain amount of games. Archie Gray is a youth prospect player who's an amazing talent. Looked fantastic at centre-back, which is a position he's never played. I feel like if you just have them two, it's no good. We're not going to play the next season very, very well. I still have feelings that if Richarlison was to be sold, Levy will try and convince Ange to put Son, right, and Lancashire up front. Yeah, but Lancashire up front, right? Because then he'll keep Manor Solomon and Timo Werner on the left wing, with Brennan Johnson and Kulu on the right wing. Our midfield, right, is going to consist of Bissouma, Bentancur, Pape Matar, Archie Gray, Bergvall, and Maddison, right?
Yep.
I think that's right. Yeah, because Skip won't get game time because he's rubbish. Lo Celso will be injured or sold, so there's no one else there. You know what I mean?
Well, you look at it, Dave. Just to quickly add on to that as well, like you said, with the other areas that we need, I don't understand how we have someone who is top of their game, Paratici, who, regardless of what is definitely doing stuff. Lange, who was doing what he did at Villa, whether you approve of what he did or not. Mackenzie, the manager. Why can they not work on multiple deals at the same time? This is a multi-billion-pound company, Tottenham Hotspur. It's amazing how hotels and housing complexes and cinemas and any kind of property, whatever, multiple deals can get done at the same time.
Yeah.
Everything's getting done. Concerts are getting arranged whilst different fighters are getting booked. That team, the booking team, the marketing team, multitask. The social media team, multiple tweets a day. The property and development team, multiple things going on daily. When it comes to transfers, we seem to be only able to do it at a snail's pace. And do you know what Ferguson, and this is the thing, the bad thing about this is
sorry, Bri, I
actually think he's goddamn right. And the reason I say that, and I don't mean it as in we haven't got the money not to sell. If you look at it, very true as well, Ferg. If you look at it at Tottenham Hotspur, when we sold Christian, and I'm just use Christian Eriksen as an example, and I could use others, and I will do actually. Christian Eriksen, we knew he was leaving in January. We knew he was leaving. Could have got Bruno Fernandes, but no. Rather than going to strengthen the team to get a player in to replace him and then get rid of him, we have to get rid of him, get the money, and then we go, right, we need another midfielder, get him in. Where if I was in charge, I'd want to say, right, we know this midfielder's going out. Like Van der Ven. The reason Van der Ven took so long is it was Wolfsburg, wasn't it, that he came from? I can't remember. It was Wolfsburg said, you can have him, but it's not going to happen until we get a replacement in. You look at Vertonghen left, Toby left, Kane left, Dele left. I can go Bale left. Not one of them did we bring in the replacement using our own money that the club have generated through the fans, through everything. Not once does this club go, right, this guy's leaving. Harry Kane, your striker's leaving. Your star, your star man, the franchise, as they would say here, the big-time player, the icon, you're losing the best striker in the world at what he does. Oh, don't worry, we'll just get the money and then we'll see what we can do. Who does that? The only time we kind of did it was with the Bale money, and then we didn't even listen to AVB. We listened to Maldini. But why is it we have this? Why is it football clubs come in and we sell our player and get the money before we use our own money to strengthen the team first? We weaken the team. Everyone knows, and I'll give you a Christian Eriksen went, and it's the most easiest one to do it with. He left. He was our only creative or our top creator when he was on fire. You're about to lose him. Creativity dies without him, or is a lot. We're not nowhere near as creative. You're losing a key asset and a key player in the way Pochettino plays. We know he's going, or it was Jose by the time, wasn't it? But rather than getting a player in to supplement that, so when he goes, we know we're covered, we'll drag it till the end of the window, get the money, and then we can't get a replacement in because the other teams know we've now got that money. and he tries to do his cheeky, oh, we're 5 million away, we're this away, with that. I just don't get it. And whether you believe Eze's the money or not, worth it, why is now that deal's not going? Listen, a lot of stuff could be getting done under the radar. But
yeah, tomorrow will sign like 10 players.
my face, like, yeah, here we go.
Yeah. But going on what you're saying there, Brian, yeah, right. And this is my issue, yeah. And I think this, I don't mean to bring him up, but Conte, when Conte said, yeah, the players are comfortable at this club, right? They're also comfortable in the transfer window because they know they've got a contract, yeah? Right? And they know that Tottenham won't sign their replacement before they're sold. So they're not worried about leaving this club where they're getting an abundance of money from in wages. Right? I've always had a feeling about that. Now, this is an opinion. I'm not saying it's fact or anything, but if you look at some of the signings in the past and the ones we've got now, yeah, right, that we want to get rid of, why aren't these players pushing for a move when they know they're not going to be playing for Tottenham?
Yeah.
Because they've got no one there to replace them. So they're like, well, what do I need to do? Why should I leave? You want me out of the club? Well, then, you know what I mean? Find me a club who's going to give me the money I want, etc., etc. Obviously, it's not all down that. Some do actually want to play football and things like that. I'm not just saying it's the sole reason, but how I see it is you buy a player to push the other player out of the club, right? So if we wanted a right back to push Emerson Royale at the club, you buy the right back, so he's then sitting there going, well, I'm never going to get game time. Get the club, find a club, let's do it, get a deal done, blah, 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 blah. Now, I know the AC Milan drama with the 8 million and everything, whatever. But you need to bring the players in to force the others out. You bring Eze in, yeah, right? Or you bring Gyökeres in. You bring Tony in, yeah? That pushes then Richarlison. You bring in, let's say, Nico Williams as a winger, right? Yeah? You bring in a Nico Williams. Well, that pushes that left side. They've got to perform. If they've got no one to actually push them out of the club and force them out of their lineup on the bench or on the pitch, then you've just got, again, comfortable players sitting there doing nothing.
Correct.
That's a big issue there. And that's what I'm... Yeah, audio, exactly. We're in the comfort zone. Exactly. Who does want to take a pay cut? They don't want to. And yeah, for me, it's one of them. I just feel like if you want players at your club, you buy their replacements and you force them out in that sense. Because, yes, we know Emerson Royale wants to go. Okay, I was just using him as an example. But if a player doesn't go, say if Lo Celso doesn't want to go and he's still got a year, half, 2 year on his contract, well, to get him out of the club, you buy his replacement and say, look, you're getting no game time. So if you want to move to a club, you want to get to a bigger club and you don't want to end up in some random little club, you leave now.
Yeah. Because
you're not getting game time. You're not sitting on my bench. You're not playing in my team. You'll be out completely and you're not playing football. Then you do that, don't you? And that's how I feel. You do that. You force them out.
Correct.
But we don't do that. We'll be like, oh, no. You take your time. Højbjerg is still chilling on holiday, deciding which club he wants to pick. Get his replacement and then tell him he's never playing for us ever again, so he has to pick.
This is it.
But we haven't. And he's sitting on holiday chilling, but we're not spending any money or buying in players to replace him. Where in about 2-3 weeks' time, he'll go, yeah, I do want to leave. This is the club I want to go to. That club pays his money. We've got 3, 4, 5 days to try and find a replacement when people know we've got the money. And we need other positions to fill as well. So then the end of the window comes and we're all upset because we haven't got the players we want. And the season's going to probably end up absolutely rubbish. And everyone's complaining again.
Yep. And before we go into questions, just a couple of things.
Yeah.
We'll go into questions after this. If you do have any questions from now, just put @Q or @TOT, or if you can, or if you want to, no obligation whatsoever, you can reach us on the super chat and you'll jump to the head of the table. Obviously, that people know I've known Stelios for a very long time. I went to secondary school with him. Well, my brother Stuart Hill's here. I went to infant school with him. I've known this guy about 40 years. God, I'm feeling old. Big up to you, my brother. Look at you in your modelling pose picture. But big up to you, my brother. And with Jazz Fusion, listen, I agree with this. I do. But when you lose a striker of his caliber, you have to replace him. And then even if you didn't, we do what we did, whichever way you want to look at it. When you've seen we didn't have that talisman this season, just gone, you have to sit back and go, right, we need a striker. We need a 20-goal a season striker to help. We've spent the money, which I can take on board with Van der Ven, with Maddison, with the big incomings last season. But now you have to address this. And the Harry Kane money goes on to this year's spending. So it's got to be there's a balance between it. But right, let's go through the questions. Have you got something you just want to break?
Oh, no, nothing breaking. No, it was just kind of funny that Total Spurs put this up on X. I was just reading because I was just checking it in case any transfers come up. But apparently Liverpool got beat by Preston North End. And Everton drew their game. So I was just reading that and it made me laugh a little. So sorry.
There you go.
It wasn't breaking or anything.
First question is going to be very, very easy. Very, very easy. McTominay, yay or nay? Hell to the nay to me. What about you, Dave?
Oh, no. Why do you want him? Jesus Christ. Oh, keep Ollie Skip.
Yeah.
Keep Ollie Skip.
This is one of the stories that last year I would have jumped all over and gone typical goddamn Tottenham. This is lazy journalism. This ain't Tottenham. This is lazy journalism. This is Fulham or Manchester United trying to put pressure on the deal to use our name because that's what we get used for. We get used as a stocking horse. Not a chance. If that happens, God help us. Bobby K, my brother, I don't know if I brought this up or you brought this up. 6 months member. Big up, gents, and everyone in the chat. Thank you for your support, brother. So, Scott M, Phillips is better than Euro, ? Now, Dave, I'll go very quickly here. I'm a huge fan of Ashley Phillips. I've said it on shows before. I believe this is a future captain at Tottenham Hotspur. I'm hearing great things from what's going on in the training ground. We saw him against Hearts. He may not have had a phenomenal game where he did well, but he is a beast. He is a unit. I think he's a future Tottenham captain and England international. I know nothing. I didn't even know this player existed until Manchester United were in for him. So I can't say if he's better. What do you think, Dave?
Well, I have actually looked at Euro a little bit because my brother's a United fan. And when I go on the school run, I have to sit at a car park for 1 hour, well over an hour, because the parking there is atrocious. So that's what I do for a whole hour. So I've been talking to my brother about him, watching him a little bit. Euro is just like Ashley Phillips in the sense that he's not a ready-made player. He's a youth player, right? He has little bits of talent, but he needs developing. Ashley Phillips has little bits of talent, still needs to be developed. Do you know what I mean? So is Ashley Phillips better than him? We'll have to find out because at the moment, they're both just youth players and we'll have to see. Euro could walk into United team and become one of the best defenders in the Premier League. Ashley Phillips could come in the Tottenham team and be the worst defender since Vlad Kirikez or someone else, Fazio. Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, they're just youth players, and is one better than the other? I don't know. I can't fully say, but Euro has little bits about him, just as Ashley Phillips has little bits about him.
There you go. And two people I just say hello to because I've just seen in the messages. My brother from another mother, my little brother, Ryan Isaacs. Stuart, you're saying something should change its name. Soon that will say Ryan Isaacs 8 Dagul because he will be wearing a Spurs shirt with 8 Dagul on the back. And all the way from a land down under, someone who's coming up to an anniversary of supporting us. First started coming on with anger management, which will be back next season, or this season, should we say. An incredible supporter of the show, an incredible supporter of a lot of Tottenham channels, and most importantly, one of the nicest human beings I speak to in the world, especially when you hear his broad Australian accent. And when I see his comments, I hear it in his accent. So big up, David. I haven't seen you live for a while. Good to see you, my brother.
Just before you get to the questions, Brian,
yes.
I just want to say to Ryan, if I could find the comment. Oh, it's so hard when so many people are talking. It's great. Oh, just want to say big up to Abby as well because I've been speaking to Ryan. Yeah, Abby here also. Hello, Abby.
Hello, Abby. Hope
we're Ryan's crazy friends.
Yes, crazy would be better. Crazy is the nice way of putting it. So, Mark H, Do you think Spence is worth keeping for Europa group stages and cups to rest Porro? He's homegrown and shown some good minutes. Dave, over to you.
I'm not going to make a decision until the end of the pre-season. One good game like that doesn't dictate a player who's not been able to get into teams, who's struggled with attitude and stuff like that. If he changes his attitude and focuses on his football and not his mouth, apparently what he does, then, you know what I mean? I can't see why not. He couldn't be a backup because he can do a better job than Emerson Royale. For me personally, I'd rather sign a direct replacement to Porro. We won't do that, obviously, but my personal opinion is sign a direct replacement to Porro. If we don't, then am I happy it'd be Spence? Not really, but I wouldn't be overly mad for it because Porro rarely gets injured and Spence will get the odd couple of cup games in the thingy. So yeah, checks his attitude, has a really good pre-season. Fine. You know what I mean? I'm not going to be happy, but I'm not going to be, angry about it. But I'd rather a direct replacement to Porro.
There you go. So for me, there's loads of caveats, so not loads, but if he has a pre-season like what we saw against Hearts, then I would want him to, only if he plays like that the whole time. I don't know if that performance was a Genoa, here I am, come and get me, look, I'm ready, or it was a Tottenham, I'm going to show you what I can do. We were just talking about the money for Eze, and if we're not spending that, why aren't we spending it elsewhere? If we can save money not having to buy another right back because Spence is there and ready to step up and show that he's matured and his attitude's in gear, then I don't know how much we're going to spend on a right back. If we do, let's just say and then there's more money to put in the positions that we desperately do need: a striker, a winger, a midfielder, a backup for Van der Ven. They, to me, are the main targets. If we can say, like we said, if we do not have to go and spend money for a right back, and if you look at Porro, from when we sold Walker, we had Trippier, in came Aurier, then it was Doherty, then it was Spence, then it was Emerson, and then it was Porro. Look how much money, it's over 100 million we spent to find Porro when we got 50 million for Walker. So if that money is there saved and Spence can prove it and perform like this all pre-season, he stays for the season, and that's more money that we don't spend on a right back that can go towards a striker, a midfielder, whatever. Next question, Andrew Gregory, how is Mia? I can answer that one because David will have no clue. Obviously, Mia ended her channel out of the blue, or it was out of the blue for a lot of us. Obviously, she knew about it. I had a conversation with her a couple of weeks ago. I let the dust settle. Didn't want to bombard her. She's probably getting bombarded. Why do you do this? Gave it a couple of weeks, just reached out to her and said, hey, just want to let you know, if ever you need to talk or just because you stopped doesn't mean we stopped talking. And Mia and I clashed a lot with our views on the ownership and everything, but I had a really good chat with Mia. She's in a good place. She is good. She's just enjoying being with her kids and the dogs. Next question, Adrian. Manchester City face 115 financial irregularity charges in November. Their fate will be decided by the season's end. By then, will Man City face relegation and have their previous trophies taken away? Dave?
They won't get relegated. Unfortunately, they bring in too much money to the Premier League, and that's how they have power within it. As with the trophies, it's kind of a hard one, right? Because there's a lot about that. They could have the trophies taken away from them, and then people believe then the trophies gets passed down to the next team who they played against. That's impossible to do. The Premier League would take years to work out all that type of situation over the years and things like that, because obviously you got to look at points. You got to look at where teams were sitting, blah, 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 blah. I don't think they're going to be relegated because they're in a position of power within the Premier League. They win it every year. They bring in a mass views and they get mass money brought into the Premier League. And I think at most they'll get probably a really big fine and they'll have their transfer window banned for like 2-3 years or something like that, which will then hamper City and it will drop City down. But yeah, there's no way they're getting relegated, and the trophies taken away, that's another very doubtful one. I doubt they're going to have the trophies taken away. They might do. I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but if they were to have the trophies taken away, fans shouldn't get hyped that their team's going to win the trophy who played against them, because it's really impossible to do that.
Okay, I'll just say, listen, do you know how many times we've heard that they're going to get charged in November? It will be done by the end of the season. This Man City will just keep kicking the can down the road. There will come to a point where they reach a dead end and they can't kick it any further. I think there will be. I wouldn't rule out. Look what Rangers happened with Rangers. I know it's Scottish football, but Rangers and Celtic are everything to Rangers. Those two to the Premier League over there. They're like, nope, you're going down to the bottom. Do I think they'll go down to like non-league? No. I'm not saying that they will get relegated, but I don't think it's off the table right now. And the one thing I care about is please, please, please do not have your trophies taken away, especially the season just gone by Premier League, because even if it'll be an asterisk, if they have that taken away, it goes to the filth, and the filth will lap it up, and deservedly so. And even though we'll go, oh yeah, you didn't really win it, whatever, it will go down that Arsenal.
Yeah, but where'd they have the Carabao?
Yeah, it depends how far it goes back. It depends how far it goes back.
Well, it goes back till 2013, I think it is.
Then if it does that, then we've got a trophy, then so be it. But I'd rather Arsenal didn't have the... Can you imagine, after all the stuff we went through with that Manchester City Spurs game, which ripped the Spurs fan base apart, whether you want Man City to win or us to win, and then after all that, Man City get the title taken away and Arsenal get it anyway. I'll go, no, mate. Right, good question. Alan. Do you actually believe Levy wants to give Eze more wages than Son, etc., and that's the problem, not the fee?
What's that? Oh, sorry. I was reading chat. Do you actually believe he wants to give Eze more wages? No, I think it's the actual fee in itself to buy him, because obviously Palace want 50 million up front. Majority of teams ain't going to be willing to spend that. So it's nothing to do with his wages, and he wouldn't get more wages than Son anyway. He'd probably get about what? He's on, I think Eze's on 70k now. So he's signed to Tottenham, he'd be on about what, 100 grand?
Oh, mate, I think he goes on a lot more than that. I think he goes, if Werner's on 165, the wages aren't the problem at Tottenham.
Vermeer's not, right. Let me just clarify that. Vermeer's not on 165 grand. We're not paying that. Werner actually dropped his wages. He's on around about, I think it's around about 120.
Okay, so
from reports I've seen.
Okay, even if it's that, then he'll definitely go on to that, whatever. If it's definitely, Alan, I see where you're coming from, but I know for sure it is the finances of the deal. The money is there. It's just Tottenham want to spend it over 4 or 5 years, where Palace are no lump sum right now, and then whatever's remaining. And if Spurs come up and say the reason this deal was scuppered was because of the wages, I will go nuclear, because when you look at it, we've just saved £1 million a week on wages. So if Spurs say with anyone deals are breaking down because of wages, it's bullshit, in my opinion. Go on, Dave.
Yeah, right. Sorry, Ronnie. You are completely correct. I didn't realise that. He is on 100,000 at Palace at the moment. So he'll probably be on, 120, 150 at us. There's no way Levy gives him more than... gives him more than Sonny or anyone like that.
There you go. And just so people know... once we end and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions, you will be redirected to Spurs Die Hard. So if you want more Spurs content, it will be there for you. Terry Wright has basically said what we've just been discussing as well. 70 million for Eze. Ouch. In my opinion, we need to spend that money on striker and a winger. We should be able to spend that amount of money on both.
Yeah.
The way we try to structure things, I listen. It's very, very hard for me when Eze's name come out. As much as I want Gyökeres, if someone says to me now Gyökeres or Eze, my love for Eze is what's going to tip it. Although I love Gyökeres, but yeah, we should be. In all honesty, Terry, we should be able to go and lay that down on both. Don't you think, Dave?
We should do, but obviously, that's not going to happen. But if you put it into perspective, you spend 15 more million on top of that, you get Gyökeres. That's his release clause, 85 million, right? There's a striker up front in the position we need. If you don't want to go down that route, you spend 20 million on Ivan Toney, you spend 20 million on Chiesa. There's 40 million, right? So you got what? 30 million left. So you can go buy a left-sided centre-back with that money. So you get 3 players for the price of 1. Eze won't change the team that much, but if you sign Tony, Chiesa, and say a left-sided centre-back, that changes the team better for the 70 million, in my opinion.
Yeah, you look at it as well, like David said, this deal, you got to remember as well, we said this game-changing deal. Now, obviously, I think Tottenham have shot themselves in the foot saying this game-changing partnership, but the money's coming in. So we'll see. Right, next one is a bold statement by Michael McCormack, and who's been great in the chat today. It's a bold statement. You ready for this? Now, don't jump because, and I mean the people in the chat when you see this. So he has said, Lancashire will be our future number 9 and England's. He is a finisher. And then, oh, wait a minute, I misread that part. And probably better than Kane at 19. I thought that said, I didn't see the bit that said 19. So I thought I said, and probably a better finisher than Kane. And I was about to say, whoa. David and chat, what's your thoughts on this? And we're comparing Lancashire at 19 to Kane at 19, not Lancashire now to Kane in years gone by.
Kane at 19, he was out on loan to, who was it? Well, Leicester, weren't it?
Well, he had multiple loans.
Was he? Yeah, was it? Yeah, no, that was it. Sorry, Norwich. Yeah, right. Yeah, so Kane at 19. Yeah, fair enough. He was. He wasn't as prolific as he was. As he has been. Kane worked hard in his career. Kane didn't get it easy. He went on multiple loans to get where he was. Lancashire. Sorry. Don't shout at me. Lancashire at the moment is doing it in training and for the under-21s.
Yeah.
If he carries on, fair enough. Your point could be right, and he is better than Kane. Unfortunately, at the moment, he hasn't had actual first-team football like Kane did at the same age. Yeah, Kane was out on loan playing first-team football at the same age. Lancashire's doing it in training. Like there was a report come out by Alistair Gold saying Lancashire is the forward who's impressed the most in training. Training's great. Training's fantastic. Our trainings look great. We've been really crap on the pitch. Training is training. When you're playing actual first-team football against Premier League opposition, not against Hearts, it was a great goal. Fair enough, he took it very well. And it was Harry Kane-esque in the way he scored it. You're playing Premier League defenders. They know the game. You know what I mean? He will have a nightmare time. If you put Kane in the Tottenham team at 19 years old back then, he would have a nightmare time. For me, he could be future number 9. But he's got a long way to go yet.
Yeah, I think he will play for England. I think he will be, in a few years down the line, Tottenham's recognised striker. And I have to say, and big up to people who know Holly Agenbar. She's got her Holly Hotspur channel, or Holly Agenbar. She put a tweet out after the Lancashire goal and said, am I the only one that can see the resemblance in this goal to a certain striker that we had? And if you looked at it, forget... She's not comparing Kane to what he was. The movement, the shrugging off of the defender, the one step, early shot, bang. It was like watching Kane when he did it to Chelsea and whatever. Kane, you got to remember, Kane got, I've had this discussion today, I can't remember where. Kane went on loan and Kane did not do well on any of his loan spells. Not one of them. But he got the minutes and got the game time. And the one thing Kane did is work like an absolute trooper at his game. I see that. I see the likeness. I see the potential. It's hard to say about the better finisher. It's hard, but I think Lancashire has jumped ahead of Scarlett and everyone else in the youth academy for that position, and we'll see what he's got. My man Ferg, I think we are still one homegrown club trained player down for the Europa League. So would you buy Kyle Walker-Peters? I'll go first this time, Dave. What do you think? So I would say this is all dependent on Spence. I think before the end of the window, when the window shuts on August the 30th, either him or Kyle Walker-Peters, Marcus Edwards, is back at Tottenham. And as I was speaking to Ben Daniel from We Are Tottenham TV, if our next signing was Kyle Walker-Peters or Marcus Edwards, the fan base would erupt. And I do mean erupt, because it'd be, cheap deal, reject, he's not going to play first team. And I get that, and that's totally right. But let's just say, and I'm just going to say names just because if we're to sign Gyökeres, then Neto, then Jonathan David, I'm just saying those three because they're the first three. And then you sign Kyle Walker-Peters, or then you sign Marcus Edwards. I think this fan base go, all right, do you know what, club trains, blah, blah, blah. I do see one of Walker-Peters or Marcus Edwards being at the club. And if I had to have a choice which one it would be, I think I'm slightly going for Marcus Edwards. What about you, Dave?
No, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I don't rate him at all. I never rated him when he played for us. I didn't rate him at Southampton. I don't rate him now. It would be another player sat on our bench, taking a wage, and, another player we won't get rid of in the future. It'll be another one of them who's just sat there taking a wage and we can't get rid of. Unfortunately, I'd rather bring in a player who can challenge the player they're going against. Walker-Peters will never challenge Porro. I'm sorry, not a chance will he challenge Porro. Spence won't challenge Porro, but with Spence, it's one of them. Do you know what I mean? You're not buying Spence because he's already here. Sorry, Kyle Walker-Peters. No, I'd rather look at English homegrown players in other positions. I mean, go for a Konza, go for the Mark Gay, go for players like that who could actually fit in the team and challenge the players in front of them. I'm not going to say they're going to challenge Romero or Van der Ven, but you get what I mean. I mean, Mark Gay was the best player for England in the entire tournament. He was outstanding. He's homegrown, isn't he? I believe. Yep. Why isn't that a player we're looking at? Why does it have to be an ex-Tottenham player who's so mediocre? It'll just make the team worse. If you want to talk homegrown players, buy homegrown players that are going to better the team, not just ones to fill a void.
Yep.
So you look at that. And look at a player like Mark Gay, he's sitting behind Van der Ven with Dragusin, behind Romero. I mean, come on, isn't that a good defence? You'd be happy with that. You'd be confident that if Van der Ven was to get injured, you've got such a competent backup, you're not worried. Porro gets injured, you're watching Kyle Walker-Peters walk on that pitch, you're sitting there going, oh, for Christ's sake. That's my point about it. You know what I mean? It's club trained more an issue than homegrown. Then use a youth player. Unfortunately, use a youth player then more. If that's the case, then you're bringing a youth player in because he's not good enough. I'd rather take a chance on a youth player than spend, what would it be, about 20 odd million for him? The Southampton will want something stupid. They're
talking Marcus Edwards right now, 11 million. Marcus
Edwards, 11 million, right? Okay, fair enough.
Exactly, but again, it's attitude. Again, it's
I'm just saying, like, these players, they're ex-players for a reason because they weren't good enough at the time. Now they're good enough because we need to fill a void. You can't look at it like that. You need to look at other things, and if you need homegrown, then there you go. Just bring in a youth player to play in that position.
There you go. And the final comment we'll just bring up, just quickly, was Archie Gray started for Leeds all season. Can he be Porro's backup now? I honestly believe, Michael, yes, they may have thought about that, but with Spence, Tottenham have come out and said he's going to be a midfielder. And one of the things I want to see personally, I don't know how people in the chat and yourself feel, David, is if he's going to be a midfielder, play him in bloody midfield. If you see his future at Tottenham Hotspur as a midfielder, not just for this season, but for the first few years in his career, or hopefully however long he stays, play him in his position that you want him to.
Yeah, totally agree. I agree. I don't. Right, okay, players can play in multiple positions, yeah, don't get me wrong, fine. But I prefer having players in their natural positions, yeah. Archie Gray says he's a midfielder, yeah. He played at right back for Leeds. Ange played him at centre back. And I think that was a test more than anything because we didn't have any centre-backs. And rather than using Phillips and Evans straight away, let's put Archie Gray there just to see how he plays, right? And see if he's willing to try in that position, play in that position. He did fantastic, by the way. He was outstanding. But I'd rather have players in their positions because then you have the team set. You start chopping and changing and putting a player there, putting a player over there, putting a player there. They're never comfortable because they're being moved around. 1 minute they could be in midfield and then all of a sudden Porro's injured, so we need you at right back. Why are we a club that need players to be played in multiple positions? Why can't we have multiple players to fill them positions? Actual decent ones and not Kyle Walker-Peters or Marcus Edwards. But like, I understand, obviously, the homegrown issue and things like that. But it's a hard one. Do you know what I mean? But this is what Tottenham's done. They put us in this position. And if it's going to be one of them, surely can't we find a homegrown position in another position that we need? Well, you know, Donnelly's been playing left back. Why can't... I don't know. Isn't Donnelly over 21 or is he still under 21? Because I seen Thingy put in a comment saying that obviously under 21s don't count as homegrown. So it's hard one. Do you know what I mean? Ronnie, I agree. Yeah, Marcus Edwards might be better than what we have, but you're comparing him to Emerson Royale. That's who we got now.
They're different positions, but like
why? Where does Marcus Edwards play? Is it? Oh, he's left wing.
Marcus Edwards is midfielder. Yeah. Kyle Walker-Peters is right back.
Sorry, that's when I'm getting mixed up. Yeah, my apologies.
So yeah, this is a point Spurs are going to have to learn. Club trained players in the way modern day football is just as important for these quotas. But listen, guys, David's show is normally half an hour.
Yeah.
Evening Brews is normally an hour. Because it was a special show, and obviously a lot of it was me ranting in a polite way. You've had a 2 hour, 20-minute bumper edition. And just quickly, Lee Harvey, big up. Thank you for your 6 months of membership. Jedi Spence carried on playing like he did. Why not? And then Andrew Gregory, right at the end, £20 super chat. My brother, thank you very much indeed. It was not needed, but very much welcomed and thanked. Thank you for the feedback. Guys, listen, we are going to wrap up, but would love you to get your comments on the YouTube bit afterwards where you can leave your comments. Me and Dave are trying to be a lot more active in responding to comments. There's so much more to come from us this summer. And your management will be back for the season. We've got our TikTok. Dave and I are going to put in a cheeky pre-recorded every Wednesday like we did with the Ange. There's going to be a lot more morning brews, evening brews. Tottenham on tour are going to be red hot. Or no, I don't say red. Blue and white hot this season. So we thank you very much indeed. Dave, any final comments?
Yeah, a blue flame is hotter than a red flame. Just to help you there. A blue flame is hotter than a red flame. Just go if you're on TikTok, guys, go jump over on TikTok. We're trying to put content on there, funny content and everything. The person behind the scenes is working really hard for it, and doing very, very well. So yeah, it is Tottenham on tour on TikTok. So yeah, go follow that. Content is going to be coming out your ears. And yeah, hope you all enjoy it. We appreciate everyone. And there's my final thoughts.
There you go. And I will say to everyone, thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for your support of the channel. Thank you for joining us for our bumper edition. Whatever you're doing this weekend, have a wonderful one. If you can join the Chris Cowlin show tomorrow, your support will be much appreciated. And have a great weekend. Enjoy watching Spurs. I will say, as always, like, comment. Dave, get ready. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And as always, Levy out.